There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell it was going on. I had audio doubling. Let's start back.
To talk with all by myself, no one to walk with, but I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you, for you, for you, for you.
These are the early days of R&B.
I know for certain
before it was called R&B.
The one I love, I'm through with flirting. It's you that I'm thinking of. Hey, misbehaving, saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere.
That's a song called Ain't Misbehaving by Fats Waller, 1929. Fats Waller was a stride pianist. Let me get on over here so y'all can see me. Still working this, there we go. Fats Waller, you see him on the left, all the way on the left. That's Fats Waller. He is an early stride pianist. And stride piano is the link between ragtime and jazz, but it's also the link between the fusion of the blues and jazz that will eventually become what we now know as rhythm and blues. It's all the same music. You dig? One second, y'all. All right, so there we go. So that's what that is. And that's my introduction to the class. Welcome, everybody. This is part of a 10-part course, 100 years of R&B. This is the most comprehensive breakdown you have ever heard of rhythm and blues. And this is part of my Patreon Music University level. But I decided to do the first class for free. And so everyone can see what it is. It's a major step up from my normal YouTube programs. It's a big step up, and I'm going to show you why it's a big step up. We have notes. For those of you who are on the Patreon level, you're going to get a syllabus. I'm not giving you free niggas the syllabus, but you'll get to see it. But for those of you on the Patreon level, you will get a syllabus. You will get, let me see here. Damn it. Cancel. Hold on one second. I'm trying to do too much. Let me do this part. Let me do this one last part, and then I'll talk to y'all. Let me see. me see, 48. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Let me do this last part, and then I'm gonna talk to y'all. Okay. Sorry about that. There's a lot going on over here. There we go. Edit text. Oh, it's in black. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. There we go. Okay, I'm here now. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Especially on the replay. So, what we're going to do here in this class, we're going to do the most comprehensive breakdown you've ever heard of rhythm and blues. And this is part of a 10-part course. And we do have a syllabus. And we do have a workflow, a slideshow. Every class comes with slides on what we're gonna be talking about. I appreciate the super chats, but I won't be answering any questions. This isn't a normal YouTube show, so if y'all want a super chat, I appreciate the donations. But I'd rather you subscribe to the YouTube University level because this is me teaching right here. This isn't a normal YouTube show. This is just showing what you're in for if you go ahead and decide to enroll. And we do 3 of these classes per year. Earlier this year, we did the history of 100 years of Black American music. This past summer, we did a children's course, and this is the 3rd one. So instead of paying for each course, you just go to the music university level and you get these high-level music courses. But this is what this is about. The True Story of R&B, 100 Years of Rhythm and Blues. This is a 10-part journey through the evolution of black music. R&B isn't just a sound, it's a living language of black creativity, struggle, and innovation. We got to always have the innovation part. They always have to stop it at struggle. We do more than struggle. From the first blues modes that came out of the South, layered harmonies of neo-soul, R&B has always told the story of a people shaping beauty from pain and rhythm from resistance. This course traces that story over 10 chapters. From the fusion of gospel and blues and jazz that gave birth to rhythm and blues, to the global impact of modern artists still carrying the torch today. Each class connects to the music, to the people, cities, movements that gave it meaning. We're going to be breaking down different cities that had different meanings that brought different things to the course. In this course, we're going to explore how black musicians, often undercredited and uncredited, sometimes erased, built the foundation of every major American genre. Every one. And more importantly, we'll show how R&B continues to evolve while persevering its emotional honesty, musicianship, and spiritual depth. My goal with the series is to restore the respect that R&B deserves, to teach where it truly came from, who built it, how its influence reaches every corner of American culture. This is about giving credit, preserving legacy, and passing the knowledge forward. So all this is going to be on Patreon, all right? And this is the course outline, basically. Today we're going to be talking about from jazz to blues, to jazz fusion to R&B. And then class number 2, we're going to be talking about the birth of R&B, the soul revolution in class 3, 4, the funk and rhythm liberation. Number 5, the quiet storm and sophisticated soul. Also, disco is going to be in there. The era of experimentation in the 80s, New Jack Swing in the late 80s into the 90s, the neo soul and the conscious R&B of the late 90s, juxtaposed with pop R&B. We're gonna go into the duality of modern R&B, the pop side, what you've been hearing from like Rihanna and that bullshit, versus what you hear on the real side with Robert Glasper and the real shit. And then we gonna go into the future where it's all going. All right. So that's the outline for the class. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's get started again. Welcome everybody that's here. Appreciate y'all for joining, and let's get it in. All right. So let me see. Let's it's over here. I'm trying to redo. My studio's all turned around on this new computer. So here we go. No, not that. Hold on one second. Where is? I'm looking for the. Where'd it go? Here we go. Here's the PDF. So for all of you that are in the class on Patreon, y'all be getting this right here. It's a PDF of the PDF, and we have a whole syllabus that we go under the slides. The True Story of R&B, class number 1, from blues to jazz fusion. How we got to rhythm and blues. This is the pre-story to how we got to what we now know as rhythm and blues, all right? Overview. R&B is more than a genre. It's a cultural language of rhythm, innovation, and survival. This class explores how gospel, blues, and jazz blended to create the foundation of rhythm and blues. We'll connect the social conditions, musical innovations, and key figures who shaped this sound. As y'all can see already, over on Patreon, when I do my courses are a completely different level than the YouTube show, okay? I really bring notes and stuff like that. This is all me hand doing it. That's why my watermark is on the back of it. This isn't me copy and pasting from someone else. This is original work. That's why I charge for it. This is original work. All right. The foundations. Blues meets gospel meets jazz. Blues is an expression of pain, humor, and everyday life. That's a southern sound, the blues. It comes out of the Delta, and it spreads all throughout the South. And when you're talking blues, you have your early blues artists. A lot of the early ones. Let me see here. You got artists like Robert Johnson. Although he wasn't that famous when he lived, his music reverberated. And it was an old Delta sound like this.
I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees.
That's, y'all said my volume is low. There we go. That's some of the early Robert Johnson sounds. That's some of the early Robert Johnson sounds. And that's an example of what the blues was sounding like during that time. That's an example of what the blues was sounding like during that time. At the same time, you have gospel. You have Thomas Dorsey. Thomas Dorsey is who created what we know as gospel music. Understand this, y'all. Understand this. Gospel didn't come around until the 1920s, okay? A lot of people think they hear gospel, they think, oh, it's always been around. No. We've always had spiritual music, but gospel was a sound that was created by Thomas Dorsey in the 1920s. And gospel, Thomas Dorsey was a blues artist. He was a blues artist first. He wrote for Ma Rainey. And as a matter of fact, he wrote a song called, I think it was called "How Tight Is It." Y'all know what that means, right? I'm sorry, Bessie Smith. He was a blues musician who had a gospel, he said, awakening. And basically what Thomas Dorsey did was he took the blues and he brought it to gospel. That's what Thomas Dorsey did. Let me see here. Let me see here. I'm looking for some of the hold on. Thomas Dorsey basically took the blues and brought it to gospel. And one of the early gospel songs was "Oh Precious Lord," this song right here. This is a later recording, but this was a popular song. Because Thomas Dorsey, like always in the church, he was rejected. The church, y'all know how the church is. The church is hella conservative. The church is like, why are you bringing that blues stuff to the church? But this is one of the first songs that was accepted by the church. I'm gonna move it up some so y'all know something.
Working on revival. I couldn't finish the meeting. Finally, seemed to drop in line. With me on the piano, precious Lord, take my hand. Lead me on. Let me stand. I'm tired, I'm weak, I'm worn.
Here we go.
My hand. Lead me on. Let me stand. Lord, I'm so tired. Master, I'm so weak. Ooh, I'm worn. Through the storm.
See, what we got to realize is this. Ma Rainey was one of the biggest acts in the country at that time. When he was doing secular music. When Thomas Dorsey leaving Ma Rainey would be the equivalent of somebody leaving, say, it would be the equivalent of Morris Day leaving Prince to go pursue gospel. That was the equivalent. If we talk about the time Thomas Dorsey left Ma Rainey. That would be like Morris Day in the time leaving Prince to pursue gospel music. But again, the church had initially rejected that sound. And that was the first song that they accepted, bringing instruments into the church. And this was all done in Chicago. Gospel music as known today was born in the North and the Midwest. If we go back to the 1800s, the first gospel hymn book was created in 1801 by, I'm drawing a blank, Richard Allen. And that was in Philadelphia. They very rarely talk about the North. They talk a lot about the South, but very rarely the North. So the first thing, if you're taking notes, is to understand that gospel music was born in Chicago. Okay? That's where it was born, by Thomas Dorsey. So then you get the fusion of gospel and blues, and then you get the jazz syncopation. That's what I started with earlier with Fats Waller. One of the dance songs of that time in the precursors of R&B was the Jitterbug Waltz by Fats Waller. You hear the organ? The gospel infusion? This is Fats Waller. That's a waltz. And the American waltz is something that was brought to America. In the first recorded waltz was in 1828 by another Black American, Francis Johnson. So when you ever hear the term a waltz, you're dealing with Black American rhythms. Okay, the 4/4 waltz. He has songs like Fats Waller has songs like Honeysuckle Rose.
When they see you out with me, I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle Rose. When we're passing by, flowers droop inside, and I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. Honeysuckle Rose.
So y'all hear, this wasn't called R&B at the time. And remind me, what is R&B? R&B is basically rhythm in the front side of the album. That's the dance side. Blues, the love music, the slow music on the backside. That's a term that we created, rhythm and blues. That's not a term that was one of the few terms that wasn't given to us. That's why I keep going. That's why I go with the term rhythm and blues, because it's actually a term that we created. Okay. So as we see, the fusion of blues, gospel, and jazz together, those traditions gave birth to what we now know as rhythm and blues. Cultural context. America, the 1920s through 40s. We had the second Great Migration that was reshaping American cities. And here's the reason why I say second Great Migration. We gotta remember, y'all, the first Great Migration was from the slave plantations to big cities in the South, okay, and in the North. We went from these plantations to New Orleans, and that's why New Orleans music got so big. They always tell you, oh, it's the migration of Haitians and French. No, it's the migration of Southerners in rural towns to New Orleans, to Memphis. That's why these cities started getting Nashville. That's why these cities started getting great musical talent. You know, it's because all of the people that were in the Delta that were on plantations now moved to New Orleans and primarily New Orleans and Memphis, and then into the bigger cities. That was the first Great Migration. The second Great Migration was in the 1910s and 20s, 20s through 40s, from the South to the North. And mind you, the North already had Black populations. Chicago already had Black populations before this. Detroit, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Kansas City, Philadelphia, New York, Boston. All these places, LA, yes, LA too, had Black populations before this Great Migration. Don't never let them make you think that we didn't first come to those cities in the 1920s. We was in those cities in the 1820s, okay? Well, not LA, but more so LA. Well, it's still technically LA because it just wasn't the United States yet. But all that stuff came in the 20s and the 30s. So that's the second Great Migration. All right. Segregation limited access to venues, sparking new creative hubs like Chicago, Kansas City, Los Angeles, St. Louis, Detroit, New York, and all major cities black Americans migrated to. They like to make you think as if the Harlem Renaissance was just Harlem. Every city that black Americans lived in had a Renaissance. LA had one on Central Ave, Kansas City, St. Louis, Detroit, Chicago. All of these places went through a Renaissance period in the 20s through the 40s. A new style of black people after we went through our ethnogenesis and realizing that, hey, we all black. Radio and records spread the sound of black America nationwide. Kansas City. Kansas City had a radio broadcast that went all throughout the Midwest that featured like Count Basie and Jimmy Lunsford and those guys. Chicago, New York, Detroit, all these places now are starting to get radio, and black music is so good they gotta play it. So that bleeds into the blending of all these sounds. That helped these sounds blend because now swing started in Kansas City, but because of radio, people could hear it in New York. And that's what brought swing to New York, was the radio of it being played out of Kansas City. And a lot of music started to blend because of that technology. Now we're going to get into the early days of R&B as we get it, because what I was giving you before was the 20s, into the early 30s. Now we get into the 30s and into the 40s. You get the key innovators of what we would call rhythm and blues. Louis Jordan, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, for more on the rock and roll side, because remember, rock and roll is a derivative of rhythm and blues. Rhythm and blues is first. Rock and roll is a more up-tempo version of rhythm and blues. And then T-Bone Walker and the way he played. Let's play some early Louis Jordan. Let's play some early Louis. And you're about to hear some rapping going on.
Station with a pack on my back. I'm tired of transportation in the back of a hack. I just love the rhythm of the clickety-clack. I hear the whistle blowing, see the smoke from the stack. Pal around with Democratic fellas named Mac. Take me right back to the track. Jack, choo-choo, choo-choo, choo-boogie, woo-woo, woo-woo, choo-boogie, choo-choo. Choo-choo, choo-boogie, take me right back to the track, Jack. You reach your destination and alas and alack, you need some compensation to be back in the black. You take a morning paper from the top of the stack and read the situation from the front to the back. The only job that's open means a man with a knack. Put me right back in the rack, Jack. Choo-choo, choo-choo.
That's Choo-Choo Choo-Boogie by Louis Jordan. You heard him rapping? Press the number 1 if you heard some rapping and some flowing going on. That was the swing combined with the lyrical content of the blues. And these are the early days of R&B. I know y'all know this song by Louis Jordan. If you watch Tom and Jerry cartoons, like I did growing up, you should know this song.
I got a gal who's is always late. Anytime we have a date, but I love her. Yes, I love her. I'm gonna walk right up to her gate and see if I can get it straight, 'cause I want her. I'm gonna ask her, is you is or is you ain't my baby? The way you're acting lately makes me doubt. You is still my baby, baby. Seems my flame.
Yep, y'all heard that in Tom and Jerry. Y'all see how black culture is so interwoven within American culture? They just don't put our face on it. So this is what my grandparents grew up on. We're listening to. My grandmother grew up on this. You had the Louis Jordan side. He was the king of black America. Y'all know how y'all talk about, like, you know, the person that black America chooses? The reason why you don't hear too much about Louis Jordan was because he wasn't someone that white America was that into. He was for us. He was the streets. And again, if y'all want this is the first class in a 10-part history of R&B breakdown. Y'all only getting 10% of this class. So if y'all want to sign up, go to Patreon, go to the Music University level. It's a great value. I used to charge $300 per course. Now it's just $40 a month, and you get all of my courses on the history of music. And this is for those who really love it. If you know, some people, if it ain't your thing, it ain't your thing. But if you're really into the history of music, you see how in depth I go. And we also going to have a syllabus for those who are in the class. We're going to have, for those of you on Patreon, we're going to have Q&A sessions. The Q&A sessions are for Patreon. We're going to do Q&A sessions after these classes for those of you who are part of the class, okay? Let's get on over to Sister Rosetta Tharpe. She really is the groundwork, not only for gospel, for rock and roll, also for gospel. A lot of your gospel quartet, they were put on by Sister Rosetta Tharpe. She, whether it be I forgot the name of the Curtis Mayfield's original group, the gospel quartet. I'm drawing a blank. It was Curtis Mayfield and Jerry Butler. I'm drawing a blank. I think they were the Dixie Hummingbirds. The Jubileers. That video that y'all all see of them brothers from the Jubileers rapping. Rosetta Tharpe is the one that let a lot of them open for her. She let Chuck Berry open for her. She really put a lot of people out there and pushed them to the forefront. But this is Rosetta Tharpe. This is Rock Me. Yeah, she put on Curtis Mayfield and Jerry Butler. Yep. Wash my soul with water. That's that Sister Rosetta Tharpe. I'm gonna play a few more of her songs. Hear that?
Oh, Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. You know the walls come tumbling down. Well, 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 Joshua Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, and the walls come tumbling down. You may talk about your bonds of Gileon, talk about your man of woe, but none like good old Joshua way round the walls of Jericho. Well, 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 Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, Jericho, well, Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. You know the walls come tumbling down. Well, 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 good old Jericho, oh, Jericho.
Y'all see them early days of rock and roll? This is Up Above My Head by Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Up above my head. Up above my head. I hear music in the air.
I'm going to get to the guitar solo.
Now up above my head. I really do believe, yes, I really do believe there's a heaven somewhere. Heaven somewhere.
So you hear those early days of rock and roll right there. This is before Little Richard. This is before Chuck Berry. This is before all of those people. And then you had T-Bone Walker, somebody else who goes unsung. T-Bone Walker really put the performance in the blues. Let me tell you back. Black folks always gonna perform. We some performing jive mofos. You know? We gonna perform. But T-Bone Walker was really somebody who was really famous for his performance. And as you see in the picture right here, you see how he's doing the splits with the guitar behind his head. A lot of that, what you would see, come Jackie Wilson. Chuck Berry said Chuck Berry's two biggest influences was Sister Rosetta Tharpe and T-Bone Walker. T-Bone Walker was who everybody looked to when it came to performance, and also when it came to how to play the guitar. Listen to this. If you notice, it's the blues, but it's at a slightly faster tempo, and it's a little more busy. And this is the sound that undergirded the early days of R&B. This type rhythm. And then you add the song like this, the T-Bone Shuffle. The shuffle is a Black American rhythm. This isn't an African rhythm that you're about to hear. Anytime you hear someone say a shuffle, the shuffle was born right here in the United States of America. You cannot trace this rhythm back to Africa, but it is a core rhythm of not only the blues, but also rhythm and blues.
fall. Let your hair down, baby. Let's have a natural ball. 'Cause when you're not happy.
The shuffle is based on a triplet rhythm to where there's 16th note triplets that are being shuffled. Pop, 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 pop. That is a core Black American rhythm. And it's a rhythm that you hear repeated time. You don't hear it too much anymore because most black music is being corporatized. But before black music got corporatized, you still heard it in Marvin Gaye in the song Come Get to This. This is a shuffle 50 years later. Y'all see how that rhythm went from the 30s to here, to the 70s?
I miss your love when you left, baby, you did. Oh, baby, come here, let me caress you. Oh, baby, you let us all show me what you miss. Come here, sugar.
Hear that shuffle? Hear that shuffle? These are blues rhythms that come off, they're based off of a swing, a triplet swing. Let's go back to some more shuffle from the blues. This is T-Bone Walker again. A faster tempo, but still a shuffle. So y'all see here, these are not based, let me come back on camera real quick. These are not based in African rhythms. Black American music, 4/4 time, 2/4 backbeat, and rhythms based off of a 2/4 backbeat. You have the Charleston, which is a shuffle of a straight ahead 16th note, and you got the shuffle, which is the shuffle of a triplet 16th note. These are all rhythms that are born here in America that you do not find anywhere else on the planet. Not Africa, not South America, okay? And these are the rhythms our music is based off of. This isn't me teaching, okay, just, oh man, kill Whitey. I ain't doing none of that shit. But what I am saying is, we've been written out of history, and it's right here in front of us. We still hear these rhythms every day. They undergird everything from Taylor Swift to Post Malone to The Weeknd to WizKid to K-pop to J-pop. These rhythms undergird all that sound. But they don't tell you those rhythms are yours. This is a 10-part series, y'all. We only at class number 1. Can y'all imagine how deep we gonna go? We only at class number 1 of a 10-part series, yo. I don't fuck around when it come time to teach. This is what you get when you enroll in the class. We're almost done. The sound elements that define early R&B. Backbeat, like I just said, emphasis on a 2 and a 4. Call and response vocals, horn sections that inspired by swing bands, emotional delivery rooted in gospel, and blues chords and progression with phrasing. Again, when I say we're dealing with the 2/4 backbeat, we're talking about any song.
Many of you cry
This is what we mean by 2/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 2, 4. 2, 4. 2, 4. 2, 4. That's how we count our music. That makes us unique from the rest of the planet. The rest of the planet counts their music on 1 and the 3. Let me give you an example. Let's play some soca. No, that's 80s soca. That's our shit. No, not them. Here it is. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Soca, that's soca. It counts itself on the 1 and the 3. Like every other thing. Like every other music from around the planet. They count on the 1 and the 3. That's what makes the Black American sound so different. The backbeat on the 2 and the 4. I love Santa Cruz. 1, 2. They either count on the 1 and the 3 or they count all 4 quarter notes. This is all 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. I love me some Celia Cruz. I fucks with her. For real, for real. But it just is what it is. You know, when you go to people and they want to say, oh, your rhythms are African. No, African music counts on the 1 and the 3. Caribbean music counts on the 1 and the 3. European music counts on the 1 and the 3. Or all 4 quarter notes went in 4/4 time. They're going to play all 4. They're going to play the quarter note. Or they emphasize one of the two, so they're going to emphasize the 1 and the 3. When you hear a 2/4 backbeat, when you hear a 2/4 backbeat, let me slow it down. When you hear a 2/4 backbeat, you're dealing with the American sound. Other groups picked this up after the 1960s. When they started doing their music, after the 1950s, really. That's when they picked up the 2/4 backbeat. After the 60s. Before the 60s, all this shit gonna be on their time. 1, 2, 4. 2, 4. 2, 4. 2, 4. We make you wait for it. Our music make you wait for it. And it plays in the space between the 2 and the 4. The music happens between the beats with us. The 2 and the 4 is just to remind you where you are. We need that space. All right? Appreciate the super chats. I'm going to get to the super chats at the end. Because this is going to go, this is a 10-part course. You only get in the first day, y'all. This first day is free. Everything else on Patreon, the music university level and higher. You've never heard R&B broken down like this, okay? You've never heard R&B broken down like this. Because R&B is the root. Because out of R&B, you get disco. You get funk, you get hip hop, you get house, you get J-pop, you get K-pop, you get pop music, world beat, Afro beat, reggaeton. All of that shit comes out of R&B. These are the discussion questions that we'll have on Patreon when we have we're going to go over some of these discussion questions when we do the Q&A on Patreon. If you're on the Patreon tier, I'm going to let you guys decide what day you want to be the Q&As. So if you're on the Patreon, if you're on this tier on Patreon, hit me up in the group chat, inbox me and say what day works best for you. Whatever day gets the most yeses, whether it could be Friday, it could be Monday, whatever. Just don't do Wednesday. Actually, I'll put a poll up in Patreon, and we'll do Q&A sessions to follow up. But these are some questions we're going to talk about when we do Q&A. How did gospel and blues merge to form secular sound that still carries spiritual energy? In what ways did technology, radio, instruments change how Black American music was heard? And how did migration patterns shape what is now become R&B? The first one, how did gospel and blues merge to form a secular sound that carries spiritual energy? Remember this. Spirituals come before gospels, all right? Gospel is born out of spirituals. And I know that could be confusing to a lot of people. But we've been doing spirituals. The first Black spiritual hymn book came out in 1801. Richard Allen, Philadelphia, California. I said California. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Those are the hymns. What we know as gospel is the combination of spiritual and the blues. The reason why it formed to create a secular sound is because gospel was born out of a secular sound. The blues was secular. And the integration of secular and spiritual is what we know as gospel. And it's the gospel that our people carry out through our secular music. In what ways did technology and radio, electric instruments change how Black music was heard? Like we said earlier, music out of Kansas City can now be heard in New York. Music out of Chicago can now be heard in Florida. Music out of Memphis can now be heard in D.C. So that's when between the 20s and the 40s was when a lot of our what used to be regional sounds got reshuffled because of radio and technology. And also remember, radio is how our music, Roscoe Parrish and Fats Domino, that's how that music got down into the Caribbean, into Jamaica, to form what their ska music scene. Okay? Legacy of the era. The fusion of gospel, blues, and jazz set the foundation for everything that followed. Soul, funk, rock, pop, and hip-hop. R&B gave the world the groove, the feel, and the emotional center of American music. Next steps. This is class 1 of a 10-part series on the true story of R&B. Join the Music University tier on Patreon to access all 9 upcoming classes and past music history courses. All right? Patreon.com/DeJuanB. This is the most comprehensive breakdown you're ever going to get. They hide R&B in plain sight. They hide it in plain sight. This is how you get Taylor Swift. This is how you get the Monkees and the Carpenters, and Elvis. This is how you get BTS and K-pop. This is how you get Rihanna. This is how you get WizKid. This is how you get Daddy Yankee and Bad Bunny. All of that you hear. This is how you get Warren G and hip hop. This is how you get house music and techno and disco. It's all rooted where we just started today. Now, the next 9 classes, I'm going to teach y'all how they all branched out. And this is all, remember this, proceeds from this class and my Patreon Go to my Black American Music Family Tree Historical Foundation. This is now an official foundation, an official 501c3, to where we're going around the country and we're teaching black music history now in person. It's all part of my foundation. And you can go to bamfamilytree.org if you want to know more about my foundation. You can go here. Come on now, move out the way. You can go here, bamfamilytree.org, to know more about my historical foundation and what we're doing. We're doing some real work. I don't talk about this that much. It's a lot of my offline work. But we are now in the streets with programs coming to a city near you, all right? Teaching the kids the real deal. So proceeds from all my Patreon, my Super Chats, that now goes to my foundation, the Black American Music Family Tree Historical Foundation, so we can get around the country, which we're getting into colleges and universities, we're getting into elementary schools, and we're getting into summer program and youth programs to teach the real history of Black American music. What up, Star? Hell, I was in Sacramento a couple weeks ago, and I saw Star on the way up there because I'm doing some stuff in Sacramento. And salute to Star. She gave me this dope ass Count Basie and Duke Ellington album. Appreciate that album, Star. So if y'all think I'm bullshitting, one of my mods saw me up on the way to Sacramento to pull this shit off. So we out here doing this in real life, all right? It's more than just the internet. And when you contribute to my Patreon and things like that, what that does is it allows me, see, I do the Patreon to do my bigger work that's offline. But when y'all contribute to my Patreon, that allows the offline work to flow without me having to get a damn job. And it gives me time, 'cause my business, I make more money in my business. Honestly, like, if I just dedicated all my time to this company, if I dedicated, I'd make a hell of a lot more money dedicating my time to this company right here. I just finished a whole anti-black racism training for one of the biggest unions in California. This company makes way more money. But this whole situation when it comes to our history, that's important. So when y'all contribute, it allows me to not take as much of a hit leaving my company to do this work. All right? But thank y'all again for listening. If y'all want to do more, y'all subscribe to the Patreon Music University tier. This is class 1 of 10. And yeah, I appreciate y'all. I might come back live with y'all later on. I don't know yet. We'll see. Dean Jones, let's talk about it. info@dewannb.com. You can email me. All right? Y'all have a good one. We out.